It is interesting. I would say if everything's going into the cloud, a lot of it's happening already.
Yeah.
A lot of things are backed up. And then you look at your device, like your phone, that you often do your banking and everything. So a lot of that's there already. Probably what we need to look at is, you did say, Joe, that a lot of it's stored locally. And that's where I think these more specific or smaller models that can be run on a machine solve a lot of the privacy issues, because you're not sending data, out into the cloud and it's being stored for anyone to use. It's central to that compute. So you buy an AI computer, the model's on there, and it's actually going to feed it and learn from all of that, which is your model in some ways.
I think that may actually even be what they're doing, a bit of obviously a hybrid approach, because in the one sentence it says connected to and enhanced by large language models. This is talking about Copilot PCs running in our Azure cloud in concert with small language models. So it seems like they may actually be small language models, maybe doing like the simple data extraction part of actually like pulling the data out of those screenshots into the index. That makes sense to have it all done locally, right? You shouldn't have to farm that out to the cloud to do, because it doesn't need a large language model to do that. That's a very specific task it's got to do, like, pull out data, and you can fine tune it to that task. So exactly, that's a good point.
When I read about that, I was thinking, well, this is sort of getting to the vision we've chatted about before of a purely conversational UI for everything. Your operating system offers you this sort of chat history in some ways of everything you've done, visualized in a specific way. And this could really be the start of moving towards that, because you have that sort of log of everything you've worked on. And eventually it could almost come down to one sort of interface where you're sort of seeing what you've done and where you've done it. It almost merges applications together, and you sort of have all these sort of multi-functional, whether you want to look at it as cards or something, through a central interface. And you're just moving through those, doing different specific activities. So it'd be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, that's an interesting point. I just read that somebody said that Elon Musk wants to make X the application for all. I guess WeChat in China is kind of getting to that super app type of thing where it's doing everything, banking, mortgage, buying a pizza, whatever. It's you're doing everything through one super app. And so if you have that capability through one app, it's going to be able to just manage everything because it has access to everything. So that's an interesting take on our next episode of Black Mirror.
Since this could be applied into all workstations, there could be a lot of analysis being done on employee usage of those machines. And again, this is kind of like Big Brother-ish too, but the technology is there, the capability is there. So, that can be good from a security standpoint, because now there's an index that's tracking and it can flag anything that it sees that may be a security issue and sort of send that up. So you don't have to sort of have log monitors logging through, churning through all logs to try and see if there are any security exploits. They can actually just visually see if someone's doing something that they shouldn't be doing and flag that. And that again could be, outside trained on what that actually looks like and then uploaded. So that's a good side of it, sure. Obviously, the negative side of it is productivity. So, it's tracking everything that you're doing, and very easy to see if you've been sort of like, on your Facebook website for 5 hours that morning, and maybe you're not doing much work. That has always existed, but this is kind of like the next level of that sort of productivity tracking. And once you have databases of this stuff, it's a lot easier to sort of compare and contrast. So positives and negatives there.
It's almost like the efficiency. Some people just need to disconnect for maybe 30 minutes and they're far more productive for the next 3 hours, versus some people, they can work a little bit more straight. So how do you distinguish between the productivity between those two? It should be just the result, the output.
Microsoft is pretty, I know what the word is, they don't mind selling your data very easily. They're pretty happy to do that. And this is really like the ultimate database, right? Because it's not just your browsing history or your usage history of certain apps. It's like everything that you're doing, no matter what. So they're kind of building up this big index of data around you. And sure, while it may be local, like they could very easily be stripping out all the metadata out of that and sending it up, which I'm sure they want to do. And so while it may not know exactly the things that you're doing, it will kind of gauge about where you spend your time. And so a lot of advertising sort of usage around that too. Advertisers would love that data. So that's an interesting side of it too. Microsoft, obviously this is a product, right? They're selling this to, they're not selling Recall as something that you're buying, they're giving it to everyone for free. And so what are they getting out of that? There's got to be some sort of data cost to that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out.